So, yeah, it's Stabby here, just, yeah, going over what I did for cooking. So, it's, please look at ingredients. Oh, oil in the pan. Wow, that was not focused properly. I'm not good with the camera. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so oil in the pan, turn the pan on, and get back. Yeah, it's got onion, all sliced up. Slice up the onion in the pan. And yeah, this is difficult with one hand, actually. When your other hand has a camera in it, it's very difficult to do right. Yeah. So, onion in the pan. There we go. It's a good start. Point. Hopefully. Take that around, spread it out. Do. But yeah, and set up the camera so I can. Yeah. Camera set up. And yeah. Getting the garlic sliced up. Peeled and sliced. Which, yeah. So, basic ingredients, right? Start off any meal, get the onion frying off in the pan, and then garlic is the next one. Yeah, onion takes long to cook, so that went in first. And I'm now working on the garlic in here. So, yeah. It's a little fiddly peeling garlic, but, yeah. Whole cloves are generally worth it. I guess mostly just making sure you get the skin off them. And then, yeah, once the skin's off, you can slice them as finely or not as you can be bothered with. Generally, yeah, that's generally the limiting factor a lot of the time with this. I mean, a finer slice is better, but it takes more time and energy for the actual slicing, which is often the bit you don't want to do. But yeah, I fully recommend the use of garlic as an ingredient. It's good. Yeah, garlic is important. Well, fresh garlic is reasonably cheap, generally most of the time, and a couple cloves will add a lot to the flavour of a meal. Yeah, and you don't need to cut it that fine either. Just, yeah, slicing it will do the job most of the time, generally speaking, especially if you put it in early. So, yeah, it's just a matter of doing what needs to be done, I guess. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, so garlic is, yeah, and chili. So wash the chili, and then yeah, yeah, chili pepper. Just gonna slice this one because yeah, not too worried about the heat, but you can of course, yeah, if you cut it in half first, you can take the seeds out, and that will significantly reduce the heat you get from the chili, while still providing most of the other flavors the chili provides, especially fresh chili. Yeah, it's not necessarily the most. Yeah, there you go. You can see garlic and chili ready to go in the pan. And camera. Follow the garlic and the chili. Wow, that's a bad camera angle. And chili in the pan. Yeah. Alright, yeah, let it all in. Don't waste it. Yeah, garlic and chili in the pan. Ooh. There we go. Hard to do camera work and cooking at the same time, actually. This is something I learned doing this. Doing both at the same time is difficult. And it didn't help that our wrist was a little sore, hence the wrist brace you'll see in some of the shots. And then salt. So, just pour in a healthy dose of salt, because it adds lots of flavour. And sure, it's a lot of salt, but this is also 3 meals worth of food, so, and then pepper, it doesn't really matter, just, yeah, pepper, pour that in, sort of similar quantities of salt, you can see both in the pan there, cook it, and, stir them in, effectively, and, yeah, and also we're gonna grab, curry powder. What else we were grabbing for this is curry powder. Oh yeah, healthy dose of curry powder. Because why not add a healthy dose of curry powder? It's there to be added. And got some hot sauce here as well. Yeah, it's probably not necessarily along with the chili, but you know, it's got quite good flavour to it. Yeah, do tend to want to be careful adding it because yeah, it's quite spicy for what it is, and especially with the hot chili as well. You know, that's a reasonable chunk of heat in this, which yeah, obviously you can, you know, de-seed the chili and then not add the hot sauce, and then we've got some soy sauce in there as well, because if you're going to add soy sauce, add some, a bit of umami, and then just gonna stir it with wooden spatula because wood won't burn, and there's green beans, so yeah. Yeah, okay, try and open the bag, and yeah, it doesn't open properly. So take the knife and just slice off the top, because look, it works. And yeah, gonna open up the bag, take about half the green beans. So none of this is like actually measured, it's just approximates, right? Yeah, that's about half the green beans. Brilliant. Gonna make sure we've got about half. A few extra. But yeah, as you can see, we've got wrist support there because our wrist was a little sore, and it helps to have that around, you know. But yeah, take some green beans. Get ready. Gonna wash them because you should always wash your veg. And it doesn't take much, right? Just run them on the tap for like a minute. I know you could wash. There are most things you can get away with just washing like that. Leafy greens, you probably need slightly more of a wash, but for green beans or courgette, something like that, which I generally recommend putting something green in there. Yeah, you can most of the time get away with just a quick rinse effectively. Leafy greens need a bit more because they tend to have little bits, things get stuck in, and all of that. So yeah, here we're just lining them all up, lining up the ends on one side as best we can. But yeah, put something green in your as part of the veg mix. Generally would be a recommendation because that keeps it tends to have things like iron in it and other useful things that you don't get out of not green veg. And yeah, leafy greens especially are good for that, but I mean honestly anything green will at least partially do the job. And yeah, hold things close to where you've got the knife but not directly in line. Obviously directly in line you get cut, nearby helps you maintain maximum control over whatever you're cutting, which helps provide control over the knife as well in turn. So yeah, you can see hold that close, and yeah, knife does need a bit of a sharpen ideally, but it's good enough for now still. But yeah, a sharp knife would be serving us better here. Definitely. That's out the way. Now, yeah, I had to have the cupboard open to mount the camera on, so this is not the easiest of, you know, normally we've got a little bit more space here, but, you know, it works okay. And yeah, just make sure that's all cut into approximately even slices. Just about the right same length together, all of it. Not going to be exact, obviously, but, you know, as long as it's approximately the same length, you can get a nice pile of green beans ready to go. And then, because green beans can take a bit to cook, right, that's the trick, is once you've got your things frying, you know, your basic flavour profile frying, you, yeah, take the veg and mix it in by approximate cooking order. So green beans tend to take some of the longest, and you really want them cooked well. They're stringy if they're not cooked properly. Carrots take quite a while as well, and really don't mind being overcooked, generally speaking. I mean, unless you're going for nearly raw carrots where it's still like crunchy, which is of course an option as well, in which case throw your carrot in very late. Yeah, extra carrots here because this is cooking a vegetable stew, so you know, plenty of carrots, those are going to be washed. And yeah. So yeah, something to just put the washed carrots on before we slice them up. There we go, the lid of the pan we're using. Going to go on top of the pan anyway, it's going to be dirty anyway, just put the clean veg on there for now. It's clean, the veg clean. And it's going to be, you know, be used to top the pan itself at a later date. So, all good on that. And then, yeah, slice the carrot. So, in half. Yeah, so quarters and then slice. It tends to be how I slice carrot up. It gives you relatively small pieces, and yeah, measure up length by finger mostly. And yeah, this is, you need to be careful with this because you really don't want, yeah, so top and tail, carrot, that's the first step, and then, yeah. But the basic goal here most of the time is just getting the carrot down into approximately even pieces throughout at, yeah, quartered slices generally. So, yeah, you'll notice I put them that way, or so head to tail like that for the halves, because that helps keep, effectively it helps ensure that there's reasonably even thickness throughout the slices, down the length of the carrot. As well as, I mean, you can slice both of them together at the same time, because they line up nicer that way, because the widening of one goes into the narrowing of the other. And, yeah. Sometimes the awkward thing is finding the best angle to cut them in half, because when something isn't straight, it's much harder to get that nice half line in two directions. You tend to have to sacrifice one of them. But, you know, it works okay most of the time. They're close enough to straight most of the time for that. Yeah, it wasn't ideal, this last one, obviously, but, and especially with limited space on the board, but, yeah, just shift things out the way. They're all going in the same pan, and you can always throw things in piecemeal as well. I didn't here because I was filming, but you can always, if you're worried about space, slice up one carrot and then throw that in the pan, slice it next, throw that in the pan, and then do the same with the final carrot. In this instance, I just put them all together, and yeah, I'm going to check that that's good for carrot. Yeah. Move the slicer out of the way. Oh, you can touch some steam as well. Camera. And this is where a second hand, not only a camera would have helped a lot, because, yeah, it's hard when the pan's, well, you know, when the board's that full, it can be difficult. So I'm going to cram in some potatoes here. Potato. Another potato. This is basically the carbs for the meal, so picked up 3 potatoes. Because that felt like a reasonable number. I mean, yeah, it's hard to know for certain what a reasonable number is, right? I mean, you'll learn to judge how many you want for a meal, and then, yeah, I don't know. It tends to be about a carrot per meal. It's about right. A potato per meal. It's about right, I find, but it's not that simple, really. You know, it depends. The size of the potato. It's one of those things you have to learn to judge for yourself. But yeah, generally think, so if you're going to have a baked potato, right, what would a reasonable amount of potato be? How big a potato would you want? You probably want 3 times that much, approximately. You know, you can get with a little bit less because you've got more other stuff than just with a baked potato, but that was a basic guideline. That's a good place to start. Although, you might need to worry, of course, about things like how big the pan is and like, which can also limit it. Yeah, potatoes washed and the where it started to grow out, taken off, and the pan, you know, do that with the sink, and yeah, and then slice. Oh, it's trying to misbehave, so change grip to an overhead one. It gets narrow, and then potato in half, and then I'm going to dice these halves. So, slice, and another slice, and another slice, and slice, slice. Yeah, so you can see dicing it here. Okay. Doing my best to control the potato despite its increasing lack of structural stability, but you know, you probably will have to give up on that at some point. And yeah, keeping fingers close by when doing a from the side or the overhead grip as well can work quite well. Essentially, you want to be as close as possible to help maintain control over the potato. And yeah, you want to just slice with the knife rather than push, because yeah, the more you're pushing, the less you're controlling. You're actually just controlling the blade, and yeah, a slicing motion is generally going to be enough if your knife is anywhere near sharp enough to be safe. A slicing motion will be enough to cut through most of what you should be cutting. Tomatoes specifically can be very difficult because they're very prone to just giving in. You know, they've got very little structural rigidity at all, so you've got to be very, very delicate with them. But yeah, generally speaking, well, it depends what you want with, right, but yeah. Yeah, just, yeah. You can see that one went quite well, you know, reasonably well behaved. And we've got, potato. Yeah. Yeah, just doing the same with this one as the previous. Slicing. Little bit large for easy use, and then I noticed the black in the potato. This is where this is slightly more awkward potentially, but just cutting out the worst of this, right? Because it's probably fine to eat, but there's enough potato to easily get away with slicing out, and just reassemble the halves. And that one's going to be a little more awkward now because it's, you know, been taken apart somewhat, but you know, this, yeah, the black in there is going to make it less pleasant, and can sometimes be something serious. It's very rarely is, but you know, generally speaking, I just get rid of it. Now, ideally you spot it before you slice the potato, but that's difficult, really. I mean, so yeah, just when you find it, cut it out. And yeah, you can see this one's being a little annoying, but yeah, you just reconstruct as best as possible, effectively. It doesn't want to stay together, but that's okay. Doesn't need to for much longer, it just needs to be close enough together that you can do the slicing. And then that's another half potato diced. Yeah, just stack it up on that side. And yeah, one last half of a potato. Same thing is going to be done here, so dice this one as well. That's the... This is most of the prep work done at this point. Once this potato is in, and meal is, you know, most of the way cooked in terms of prep work. Once I throw this in the pan, yeah, potato sliced, ready to go. Over to the pan. Everything else is in, and the potatoes in the pan. The pan's reasonably full at this point, and we're gonna, yeah, stir it, which takes both hands, unfortunately. Oh, I've got lentils here for protein. These are red split lentils because they cook reasonably quickly and easily. You don't need to do any preparation, you just throw them in. Yeah, healthy dose of lentils. Them stacked up, and we've got water in the kettle. We've got a kettle full of water that's boiling, and now I just fill up the pan with water. This is where if you're using stock cubes, add them with the lentils, and pour the water over them. And lid. Go. That's good to go. So, letting that cook for a while. Yeah, we'll come back a bit later to test if they've cooked. So, pan is hot at this point, so using heat protection. And then going to, give it a quick mix. So you can see how difficult that is with only one hand, because, yeah, the pan wants to shift around on the hob. You mix it, but, yeah, just mix it a little bit. Make sure everything's stirred together. See, it's, yeah, starting to look like a stew. Clean up the thing. And then, yeah, I'm gonna turn that down because it's cooking at this point, in theory at least. And yeah, coming back a bit later, you'll learn to time these, but yeah, I mean, yeah, at least 50 minutes generally for potato, depends how closely depends how finely you cut it. But yeah, about half an hour generally, probably. And yeah, so just going to grab a bit of potato and test it. One piece of potato like that isn't going to cause serious problems if it's a little undercooked. But yeah, so you can test it, and then, yeah, test it, it's not done yet, so I'm going to leave that for a bit longer and do the same thing. Give it another, I think it was 5-10 minutes for the second before another test. Oh, and yeah, accidents happen. Right, the lid fell down, but I steamed up the camera or something fierce. Got another piece of potato out. I test that one, and that one time it's good. So, dinner is ready. Well, pan's ready. Dish it up into 2 Tupperware things for future and a bowl for today. So those are 3 even servings, and then I'm just gonna put the lid on top of the 2 Tupperware boxes. I'm not going to actually close them this time. The lid will stop the flies and like, but will not prevent the lid will do the prevention of things getting in, but won't stop it cooling that way.